Hello everyone. Lately people talk a lot about ecology, and it usually is about sad things. Global warming, ozone holes, contamination, ugh. But if you've already decided that there are no more clean lakes and rivers on our planet, then stop panicking. In fact, there are a lot of them, and the water in them is still so transparent that it's practically invisible. So in this video, we will show you some places with the cleanest water in the world. Let's get it on. Sabah, Malaysia. This remote Malaysian state located in the northern part of Borneo Island is surrounded by coral reefs and is therefore one of the most favourite places for divers. But not only because of the underwater vegetation and all sorts of fish, the fact is that the water here is so transparent that you can observe marine life even from the surface. A simple boat trip with a local feels like a real dive. So if you are terribly afraid to dive but have always wanted to, this place is what you need. You will not regret it. Poo-Poo Springs, New Zealand. Natural springs on the edge of the South Island on the shores of Golden Bay emit 1,400 litres of crystal clear water every second. People say this water is the absolute champion of cleanliness in the world, and only the glaciers of Antarctica can compete with it. But the latter is quite hard to reach, while New Zealand is a little closer. Yeah, we know, at first sight the Poo-Poo Springs don't look particularly clean, and in some places the water actually looks brownish. But don't let its appearance deceive you, because in fact this is not the colour of the water at all, this is the bottom. Yes, the water here is so clean that you can distinguish everything that happens down there. According to studies conducted by scientists in 1993, visibility here reaches 200 feet. Zhujiagu Valley, China. In the north of the Sichuan province in China, there is a national park named Zhujiagu. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Reserve, and if you visit it at least once, you'll see that UNESCO is absolutely right. The nature here is so incredible that it literally makes you forget to breathe. But it's not just dense forests and beautiful landscapes, otherwise it wouldn't be in our list, right? There are 108 lakes on the territory of the park. 108! There is an ancient legend according to which a young man brought a magic mirror to his beloved goddess, but the girl accidentally broke the gift, and the fragments turned into colourful lakes. And they are indeed multicoloured. Besides, each one seems to have its own character and doesn't look like the others, and the water here remains amazingly clean even though the park is extremely popular among tourists. However, swimming in the valley is strictly prohibited. You can't even feed the fish, although there are some people that try to get there at night and swim a little. It is very, very bold of them. They must have not heard the legends about monsters living on the bottom of some of the sacred lakes. Königssee Lake, Germany. If you always dreamed of taking a picture of a boat that seemed to be floating in the air, then you definitely should visit this lake. Königssee is located in southern Bavaria, very close to the Austrian border, and is considered the cleanest lake in Germany. For this reason, since 1909, only electromotive and light vehicles are allowed in this place, in order not to contaminate the crystal clear water. According to scientists, Lake Königssee was formed during the last ice age due to the melting of glaciers, and therefore quite comfortably settled between steep rocks. By the way, because of this, there is a special acoustic here, a clean, multiple echo. During a boat ride, the captain will show this marvelous natural phenomenon to the passengers, playing a simple tune on the trumpet. Since the shore of the lake is very steep and covered with dense forests, it's impossible to walk on it by foot or travel by any means of transportation. So tourists have much fewer opportunities to throw garbage in Königssee. However, the authorities closely monitor the cleanliness of the lake, which we are very grateful for. Lake Margery, USA. What happens when Mother Nature wants to create a pool? Yes, it's kind of a weird question, but we accidentally found an answer to it. It's Margery Lake. This pond, located in California and surrounded by mountains, looks almost artificial because of its incredibly transparent water. This is partly because the lake originated not just anywhere, but right in the crater of the volcano. Don't worry, it went out many years ago, perhaps even before people appeared on Earth. but Marjorie has few tributaries, so it cleans itself during the filling, passing water through the rock. By the way, around the lake too, there is something to admire. The landscape there is so stunning that it attracts photographers from around the world. And not in vain. No, really, just look, what a beauty. Crater Lake, USA. The volcanic Crater Lake, located in Oregon, is one of the deepest and cleanest in the world. The water here is so blue and transparent that you can see even at a depth of 140 feet. The lake itself is quite deep. Its maximum depth is almost 2,000 feet, and all because Crater Lake, as you might have guessed, is located in the crater of an old extinct volcano. Its last eruption occurred about 7,700 years ago, and the volcano crater, formed by the weight of cooling lava, has been filled with melting snow and rain for many centuries. According to scientists, this is the reason why the water in the crater is so transparent. In addition, the lake doesn't have a single outflow or inflow. According to experts, it took about 720 years for the huge volcanic crater to fill with water and gradually turn into what we can see today. Despite the impressive and even frightening depth, you can swim in the lake, but to get to the beach, you need to go about a mile along a steep path. Of course, if you have no desire to spend so much time climbing the slopes, but you really do want to swim, then you can jump straight from the hill. But we should warn you that this is probably not the most pleasant thing. The water in the lake is indeed clean, but rather cold, and a quick dip into it may not be as pleasant as you might think. Rio Sucuri, Brazil. When it comes to the rivers of South America, the only one that comes to mind is usually the Amazon River. It's not surprising at all given its size, but of course, it's not the only point of interest there. In the natural region of Pantanal in Brazil is located one of the cleanest spring rivers on our planet, Rio Sucuri. According to the lucky ones who saw Sucuri with their own eyes, the water in this river is so transparent that it's almost invisible, and it seems that the fish are just floating right there in the air. It sounds strange and even a little scary, but on the other hand, you'll definitely notice if some hungry crocodile decides to sneak up on you. Tahoe Lake, USA. Mark Twain claimed that Tahoe translated as grasshopper's soup in one of the indigenous languages of the USA. Of course, the second deepest lake in the United States has nothing to do with this soup, and it's all about the fantasy of the famous writer. In fact, the natives who lived in these places called it Da'o-Aga, which translates as edge of the lake, which you'll agree sounds much better than even the most delicious soup. The lake is unique in many ways. The water in it, shimmering in different shades of blue and green, is just incredibly pure. In the winter, it doesn't freeze, in spite of the cold weather and the snow. In the summer, it doesn't warm above 20 degrees Celsius. Not a very comfortable temperature for swimming, but in the summer there are still a lot of happy holidaymakers who gladly dive into the water, with and without scuba gear. Even in winter, the flow of tourists doesn't decrease, and although they don't dare to swim, they ski around the Tahoe Lake enjoying the views. Jenny Lake, USA. In the northwestern part of Wyoming, there is Lake Jenny, which today is part of the Grand Teton National Park. Jenny has a glacial origin and is located at an altitude of almost 6,800 feet above sea level. According to researchers, the lake was formed about 12,000 years ago. That is, well, quite some time ago. Despite the fact that this lake is one of the cleanest in the world, motorboats are allowed on it, and everyone is happy to use this opportunity, both explorers and tourists. But don't worry about the cleanliness of this lake. In 2006, a group of specially trained scientists measured the water of Jenny and found out that there was no contamination, not even a little bit, a real paradise. Blue Lake, New Zealand. Well, now it's time for the most transparent lake in the world. This is the Blue Lake, located in the Nelson Lakes National Park. Maori tribes have their own name, Rota Maire Wenua, which I probably pronounced incorrectly, and they believe this lake is sacred. Perhaps that's why the water's so clean. And when we say clean, it's not a metaphor. In 2011, the National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research conducted a scientific experiment that showed that the Blue Lake is the most transparent natural pond known to humankind. According to the research, visibility here reaches 260 feet. Believe us, that's a lot. In simpler terms, the water in the Blue Lake is so transparent that it can easily be mistaken for specially purified water. Yes, like drinking water in bottles. But humans of course have nothing to do with it. Nature has perfectly dealt with it all on its own. Before entering the pond, the waters of the Blue Lake pass through the rocks, which serve as a natural filter. So would you like to dive into one of these lakes, friends? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button. Amazing gadgets, upcoming technologies, incredible inventions, and other cool stuff related to high tech on TechZone. Subscribe, you won't regret it. The link is on the screen and in the description.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back to you as fast as we can.